Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Alfred Buchunju. I'm a teacher of mathematics and geography. I'm employed by Teacher Service Commission to teach students in Kenya. And because of coronavirus, schools have closed and learners are now at home with their parents. But that one does not make our learning, teaching and learning process to stop. We shall even teach while at home, but we shall not make learners to come together because they will be spreading the virus. For that reason, yes, I'm right away from my home and I'm using my family members as learners, and as I'm using this wall of my house as the blackboard to do my writings. So I believe learners all over the country are going to enjoy this particular lesson whenever they are going to get this video. So I'm going to tackle a topic in Form 4, and that is mathematics, longitudes and latitude. And I've got 4 specific lesson objectives to cover today. And the first lesson objective is every learner all over the country, whoever shall get this particular video, should be in a position to differentiate between small and great circles. Number 2, learners should be in a position to differentiate between longitudes and latitudes. And number 3, learners should be in a position to give the position of any place on Earth's surface using longitudes and latitude. And then finally, learners should be in a position to find the angle difference between latitudes and also longitudes. To start with, we are going to tackle the great circle and a small circle. And I've got 2 diagrams on my wall. That is figure A and figure B. I'm going to start with the figure A. Now, as you can see, figure A is in the shape of the sphere. That is the assumption that the Earth is in a spherical shape. And within that particular spherical shape, I've come up with 3 circles. The first circle, the second circle, and the third circle. Now, as you can see, each circle has got a diameter. And as you can notice, you will realize that the circle with the diameter CD is the largest of all the circles. And because of that, this circle is dividing this sphere into 2 equal hemispheres. So it makes this particular circle to be a great circle. And now, the circle with the diameter AB, and the diameter EF, actually, as you can see, they are dividing this sphere into an equal 2 hemispheres. Now, because of that, we say this circle with the diameter AB and EF are a small circle. Now, when we go to figure B, you will realize that these lines are running from, or rather these circles are running from north to south. Now, all these lines, they are dividing these, each and every line is dividing this sphere into 2 equal parts. Then we say all these lines or all these circles are a great circle. Did you understand what you've talked about?
Yes.
What have we said about a circle CD?
Diameter CD is the largest diameter that divides the Earth into two equal parts.
Very good. So that one marks the end of finding the difference between a small circle and a great circle. Yes, is we want learners also to know the difference between latitudes and longitude. That is, by the end of the lesson, they should be able to understand what is a latitude and what is a longitude. So I'm going to start with the latitude or latitudes. Now, a latitude is a circle whose plane is perpendicular to the axis of the Earth. To be more simpler, this is a circle number 1, this is a circle number 2, and that is a circle number 3. As you can see, this is the Earth axis. Now, you realize that this plane is meeting this axis at 90 degrees. Similarly, this plane, which is going through the equator, is also meeting this axis at 90 degrees. And then finally, there is a plane in the south of the equator, is also meeting this axis at 90 degrees. So that particular plane is what we refer to as a latitude. Another thing that we should note about latitudes is that now, if you look at these 3 circles, you will realize in the previous objective, we say that this is a small circle, this is a great circle, and then this is a small circle. Now, what we can say is that all latitudes are small circles, except the equator, which actually cuts or divides the sphere into 2 equal parts. Another thing that we should note about latitude or latitudes is that this particular angle here actually is a latitude of this particular circle, which goes through point A and is parallel to this particular equator. And then also this particular latitude is represented by this particular angle, which is referred to as alpha, going through a point C. In other words, what we are saying is that equator is our reference point when we are talking about latitudes. So a latitude is either in the north of the equator or is in the south of the equator. And then finally, something that we should note about a latitude is that they make a maximum of the maximum angle of 90 degrees. That is 90 degrees south or 90 degrees north of the equator. So a latitude angle does not exceed 90 degrees. That is south or north of the equator. Yes, when you come back to longitude, is that longitudes, there are lines which are going through the North Pole and South Pole. That is, they are running from North Pole to South Pole. So all these lines, we call them longitudes, or sometimes they are usually referred to as meridians. Now, there is a meridian here. Now, this particular meridian is unique. It is going through Greenwich. It is going through London. So this particular type of a meridian, we refer to it as a Greenwich meridian. Or rather, we call it a prime meridian. So all meridians are named in reference to this particular prime meridian. So a meridian is either to the south of, to the east of prime meridian or to the west of prime meridian. So another thing that a learner should note about this particular meridian is that they make a maximum angle of 180 degrees, either east or west of the prime meridian. So if you get a meridian which is more than 180 degrees, then that is a wrong meridian, or that is a wrong working. So our meridian just make a maximum angle of 180 degrees, and it is named in the reference to the prime meridian.